Good evening, traders. Zach here from the Trading Network. Hope you guys are doing well. It is Wednesday, December 9th, and I have another daily market profile recap for you. The main levels that I was interested in this morning before the open were the following. 37.14, which was the December 9th overnight high. It was also the all-time high. 37.09, which was the December 9th overnight point of control. 3750, which was the December 9th point of control, and 3687.75, which was the December 8th initial balance low, or also known as the December 8th 1 hour range low. Now, we had no high impact news events today, and the overnight inventory was 100% net long. Now, the overnight inventory was 100% net long because the entire overnight profile was above the settlement price. Now, if we go over and we look at the settlement price on the chart here, you can see that we have settlement marked at 37.02, and furthermore, you can see that we have the entire overnight profile above settlement. Overnight profile is entirely above settlement. That means that the overnight inventory is long. Now, when the overnight inventory is long, that means that the higher probability play is for New York session to fade the overnight to the downside. Now, you can see that the New York session, we opened within the range and value of the overnight session, but we actually opened slightly outside of range and value from the previous New York session. When we open outside of range and value, that gives us a higher probability indication that we are going to have a trending day. Now, you put those two pieces together, our opening outside of range and value, making it likely that we have a trending day, in combination with the fact that overnight inventory is long, which again means that our higher probability is that we see downside pressure. That means we are likely to see a downtrending day, or at least a downtrending open. So you can see that we opened here. We probed up here right above the overnight volume point of control at 37.09, and 37.1050 ended up being our high of the day. Now, as you guys may know from watching my previous videos, when we open within range or within range and value from a previous session, that gives us the ability to calculate the next session's range, give or take about 10%. Now, again, we opened slightly above range and value, but still very close to opening within range. This gave me the indication that we were still going to be able to somewhat calculate our range based on the previous session's range. Now, you'll see here, if I take the measurement of 3150 from the previous New York session, so that is the December 8th New York session, and I take that 3150 and I put it at 37.09, this actually gave us our range for a large majority of the session. You can see all the way until the end of the session, we were using the 77 area as our low of the day, and within 1.5 points of the overnight volume point of control and the overnight point of control, this pink level here, that was our high of the day. So this is very interesting that although we did get movement below this 76.50 level, and that also lined up with another overnight volume point of control, as you guys can see, we ultimately moved down towards this 64.25 level and these previous levels down here. So we had interest 57, 57, 55, 59. So a lot of interest, a lot of liquidity, untapped liquidity sitting in this area, which means that there were a lot of orders here, and really price hasn't been tapped in this area since, let's see, when was this? December 3rd. So just about a week. So a lot of resting orders here, a lot of liquidity for bigger players to come down, take advantage of, and then find value elsewhere. My thought is we're going to probably come back and fill in this level if we don't continue to do business below 68 and fill in these previous poor structures. You can see we have single prints here, some single and double prints in this area if we zoom in. And typically when you see weak structure like this, it's a high probability that price comes back down and fills in that structure, which is what we were working on this later in the New York session today. So without getting sidetracked too much, let's get into a little bit more of what I was thinking this morning. So we were looking to open above range and value from yesterday's session, like I was saying, which means that there is a higher probability of directional conviction to develop. Also, when overnight inventory is long, the higher probability play is for New York to fade the overnight inventory to the downside in this case. So today I was looking for price to hold above yesterday's range high at 37.08, which also coincided within a point of the overnight VPOC and point of control at 37.09. And I was looking for us to move and hold above that level for us to get that upside directional conviction, which was the lower probability play. If price could hold above that level and use that as support, I was going to look to take long scalps towards the overnight high, Fibonacci pivot R2, and Fibonacci pivot R3. On the flip side, which was the higher probability play, if we could not move and hold above the overnight POC and the range high, I was going to look for price to rotate towards Tuesday's point of control at 3,700 and ultimately lower. Now, scrolling down, you can see my thought was if we could get acceptance above that 37.0809 area, we were going to get upside pressure. And if we could not move above that level, we were going to see downside pressure. Now, my targets based on that thought process to the upside, again, were 37.11, 37.14, 37.1875, and 37.3550. Downside targets, if we did not hold below 08, or I'm sorry, above 08, were 37.0550, 37.02, 36.9650, and 36.87. So you guys can see that we clearly got the downside pressure. And if I go over to my regular chart here, I'll just go back to the open and we'll take a look at what happened here. You guys can see I had some trades up, but we will possibly go over those in another video. So you can see we had an open right here. Let me actually clear up London opening range. So I use London opening range and the New York opening range together because they both give me really nice confluence, usually with market profile levels, Fibonacci pivots, VWAP levels, etc. With that said, we had an open here. This is our opening price, 0850. We very briefly probed up to that 1050 level, and then we got very strong selling. So the conviction was to the downside nearly off the bat, and with that, it allowed us to hit our downside targets rather quickly moving throughout the session. So going back to the profile here and getting rid of my drawing so you guys can have a better view. All right, so first downside target after we could not hold this 37.09 level of support was 37.0550. 37.0550 was right between these levels, right in this area right here, between this 37.04 overnight low and this 37.05 area. So I like to move down to this area in this range, if you will, if we could not hold this level as my first target. Second target was actually settlement. So you can see if we go back quickly to trade plan, 37.02 was that downside target, and that was hit rather quickly off the open as well. Third target was the 36.9650 level, which was the range high from the December 7th session. And you can see that a little bit more clearly here on this profile, 36.9650, the December 7th range high. And the fourth downside target, the last target, was 36.87. Now this 36.87 level was very interesting to me because I saw the initial balance high here from December 8th. I saw the overnight high from December 7th into the December 8th overnight session. I saw 88.50 as the initial balance low from the 7th session, and then 87.75 again as the initial balance high from the December 4th session. So there was a ton of confluence in that area for that level, and that's why I picked 87 as my last downside target. And to be honest, I should have probably had a couple more downside targets because even with this range calculation, off the bat, we could have determined that we were going to likely visit high to mid 70s as well. So with that said, I'm really excited to be back in the swing of things, making videos for you guys and creating content. If you guys enjoy this content, if you want to learn more about market profile, if you want to learn more about how I trade, please feel free to click like and subscribe down below. And check out the link in the description where you can find access to our website, where you can get one-on-one mentorship with me. You can get private Discord access where you can watch myself and the Trading Network team trade live every day starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. You can also get access to our proprietary indicator package, which you've seen in this video. And last but not least, you can find access to the Fundamentals of Futures Trading, which is our new course that goes over and teaches in depth multiple strategies on how to consistently, profitably navigate the futures market. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this content, and I will see you in the next video.